know one thing I kind of been noticing, man, is that the Lions have not been getting the national TV respect that they deserve. I mean, they've been getting some credit here and there with people saying Goff should be MVP, blase this, blase that. But when I look on, national TV and look around the highlights, Lions win over Minnesota. They got minimum coverage on that. First Take didn't even cover. They went over Minnesota, and those were like 2 of the 3 or 2 of the 4 best teams in football. And it was probably the best game, one of the best. It was the most anticipated game on last week, and it was the best game last week. A historic blowout, or it felt like a historic blowout of the Tennessee Titans, right? And no coverages, no highlights, no none of that. And I'm starting to see that's the common thing with the Detroit Lions, is that they not getting their respect. Yes, they mentioned it's a top 5 team or top 3 team right now, and that's something that you cannot ignore. That's something that you can't ignore. But nationally, they skipping over their highlights. They still showing more Cowboy 49er highlights, even showing Green Bay and Jacksonville highlights. So the Lions got to pay attention that they still not getting the recognition that they deserve to get. The Kansas City Chiefs have been abysmal. They don't even have half the highlights that we got this year. I understand them be the champs, so they deserve the coverage, but come on, atrocious. They feel like times they cover the Raiders and the Giants and the Steelers even more. Not the Steelers, but the Jets. They feel like they get more coverage than we get. And tell me I'm wrong. I don't feel like I'm wrong. Every other week or every week, consecutive week, it's the damn Giants and Jets on national football, on national TV. For what? Because they in New York? I am 2 atrocious football teams on paper, on the field. On paper, on the field, they 2 atrocious football teams. So, I don't really understand, this whole, I get it that you want to sell the Cowboys. It's a big brand. You want to sell the media mecca in North America, the New York teams that play in Jersey. We get it. But at somewhat, when does Minnesota deserve to get its just due? When does Detroit deserve to get its just due? Buffalo should be getting more publicity than they getting, doing what they doing with that roster that they got, which is not so good. So it's just to the point where I'm just looking like, man, when we lose, I see the highlights everywhere. When we win, I don't see no highlights. Honestly. That's just my observation from it. I mean, this team put up 440, 50, 30 something, 50. Went to Minnesota and put a 30 piece on them. With a biscuit, fries, coleslaw, mac and cheese. I hear people still talking about churches. I ain't know ninjas still ate churches. That greasy ass shit. And we be all crying, wondering why we get sick and got cancer and shit. Y'all eat churches. I don't eat none of that shit. If I'm gonna get fat, it's gonna be off some real good J. Alexander's. Nara, something like that. Nara's is probably the best hibachi place for sure. In Metro Detroit for sure. Nara's is a banger. This girl put me up on Nara's. That shit's a banger for sure. You're gonna spend some money, but if your money funny, Osaka's. I'll tell you, go to Osaka's in Clawson. Osaka's A1 too though. Yeah, Osaka's good, but my favorite is Nara's. By far. But I never been to Hood Hibachi. I used to live up the street from Hood Hibachi. No cap. I used to live up the street from Hood Hibachi. I just don't like the way that I gotta sit outside and wait for my food. I mean, I should be able to call it here. I don't want to sit outside with them ninjas. Yeah, I said it. Oh, and that hibachi place in MGM Grand, man, I don't know if I was taught after the Piston game Saturday. I was drunk than a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie. That bartender at MGM Grand in the middle part where the bar at, well, them 2 bartenders made them Long Islands, boy. I seen the amount of Patron she put in there. I should have been like, stop. But that whatever that place is in MGM called, the Wok, man, that shrimp they gave me was fire. Them old Chinaman back there, Japanese, whatever they Asian man, they was up there. They was out there cooking a storm. I got back to the spot. My friend was like, "You got food?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Oh man, I think I ordered some crab ragout, but I was toasted. She woke me up. "You ain't even share your food." Like, you better ask. You better ask. You better ask. I don't even drink that often, but shit. I think you better ask. For real. But on a serious note, but yeah, I started to go to the Titans game, and I'm like, bro, I'm too tired. Why are you stopping? Why are you stopping? There's no need to stop. Damn. But they'll be good. Somebody hate this shit. But yeah, I don't think they're getting the respect and the publicity they deserve. So they should put that chip on their shoulder. And that's one thing that's why I kind of don't really mess with the main media for real. And even the YouTube media is really becoming mainstream, because one of the things about the YouTube media is because you got a lot of mainstream ninjas trying to rebuild their brand on the YouTube tip. You know, I don't know if y'all really kind of peep that, but you got a lot of them dudes like Cam Newton who started his own podcast to get back on ESPN First Take. You know, one thing about independence and building your own podcast is really to say and do what you want to do. But these dudes are, you know, going mainstream, or starting off on YouTube and then going mainstream, or they mainstream fall off, use YouTube, going mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of niggas just going, a lot of these content creators that these former athletes or ex-news anchor sport, what they're using is YouTube to get back to the mainstream. You know? And I think what people should be doing is continue to build your own stuff. A lot of people got mad at Pat McAfee, but when they give you that many zeros, I mean, come on. Might as well. I understand that. But I ain't going, you know, from mainstream, build myself up to being an employee again. I'm good. I don't want to be your employee. You know? You want to have a boss mentality. So, really, the YouTube street's getting watered down. And if you looking at the streaming and you looking at Hollywood entertainment real quick, what you starting to realize is the lames and the nerds are starting to run shit, and the weirdos, they starting to run stuff. That's why you got all these crazy trends and shit. But that's another conversation for another day. But the Lions ain't getting the respect that they deserve, public wise. You know, great atmosphere, destroying team, but if they start losing, they go, "Oh, I knew Detroit was overrated." Everything about like First Take and all them channels is shock value. And one thing I noticed, a lot of them, they don't be watching the games. I mean, shit, they gotta be up 4, 5 in the morning. A lot of them be watching the highlights, and you know what I'm saying? They really don't be watching like that. They really don't be watching like that. So it's like what they do with Madden and 2K, if y'all ain't hit. Like, there's never really, not in a long time, I won't say never, there's never really been a game, a basketball, football game for real basketball and football heads. You know what I'm saying? There's never really been a game. It's always been versed towards the casuals. It's always been, oh, let's push it towards the casuals. Let's push it towards the casuals. Let's push it towards the casuals. That's what it's been. Let's push it towards the casuals. That's really what it's always been. Let's push it towards the casuals. Let's push it towards the casuals. That's been the game. And that's pretty much what sports has become and sports reporting has become. It's so digestible that even you can understand it. They do that with the news anchors. You see Tony Romo try to, you know, call out the plays and try, oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't. Like, it's just, like, you know, dealing with, like, people who don't know football, don't know basketball. It's like the worst. And they let nerds and analytics into football and basketball look at it. It's the worst it's been. It's the worst I've seen basketball. But that's just my humble opinion on it. But everything they do is shock value on TV. But like I said before, the game of the week last year week with Minnesota, and they don't speak about it on First Take. Come on, man. Like I said before, man, ESPN been trash for like 20, 30 years, man. It used to be alright. It's trash. You know, and then we have zesty reporters like Ryan Windhorst who want to get their basketball takes from Ryan Windhorst and Dave McMenamin. Like, bro, come on, wouldn't hit a jump shot if on a Fisher Price hoop. Look at that. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments section.